But to be honest, I don't know what any of this stuff is, man.
It absolutely stinks. You look at the state of it, man.
Like, the scale of this place is just ridiculous. Brothers, what's the bean? What the f***? I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a clue where I'm going. Just kind of going up. Look at this one here. Canton Intangible Cultural Heritage Rice Roll Master. Constantly dodging the electric scooters everywhere. The creme de la creme of Chinese food. KFC. Welcome to Guangzhou, China's southern metropolis. I visited here in April 2025, and excluding a few brief days at Hong Kong and Shenzhen the year before, this was my first real visit to China. After flying in from Hanoi and a few beers with my good friend Mark in the town of Baiyun, along with some rather sus looking barbecue, I was left alone in a city of 18 million to explore and navigate the peculiarities of China for myself. Apologies for some of the audio on this one, it's not great, and also the amount of time it took to edit. I hope you enjoy regardless. Good afternoon here from Guangzhou in southern China. I'm currently in Guangdong province, the heart of the Cantonese speaking area of China. You may or may not have heard of Guangzhou, but it's one of China's biggest cities, the biggest in the south, and there's many other cities nearby such as Shenzhen, Dongguan, Hong Kong obviously as well. So this is a huge area, and there's so much to see here. But I'm going to try and uncover at least a little bit, as it's not much of a tourist destination here. So even if I go to some of the most famous sites, for a lot of you it may be something you've never seen before. So a lot of Westerners do come here, but more to do business, to attend events, and also meet with buyers and sellers. So as a tourist, we're going to see how Guangzhou differs from other areas of China that are perhaps a little bit more popular. So right now I'm by South China University, or as they call it, South China Normal University, which gave me a chuckle when I was on the train coming here. But the metro station is just around the corner. We're going to hop on and I'm going to show you how it all works. So here in China you need a smartphone for absolutely everything, and the way in which you pay for the metro is with an app on the phone. You can just use an app called Alipay, and that allows you to basically just scan a QR code, get inside, and then they'll charge you when you get off the train. So I'm walking now, I just have to go to transport, metro, and then there's my QR code. So when I get to the gate line, I'm just going to scan that code, and they're going to let me through, get on the train. I found it super cheap here as well. The journey across town yesterday only cost me about 50p. Now I just had to turn the camera off, because what you didn't see just there is that you have to scan your bag every time you go onto the metro here. And quite often, if you have water in your bag like I did, or maybe you've got a can of deodorant in there, they'll search your bag and ask you to double check that it's definitely not harmful, for example. So I had to drink the water in front of the guy just to prove that it wasn't something else, I guess. White spirit or explosive or something. Seems like dismissal. So here's the metro mapping Guangzhou. Right now I'm here at South China Normal University. First stop for me, the Canton Tower. Now if you've never been to Guangzhou, you've probably at least seen a photo of the Canton Tower. We're going to go there now. So it's on line 3. The metro network here is absolutely enormous. Also here is one of the security checkpoints that I mentioned earlier. It's literally like going to an airport. You have to put your bag through, aerosols and liquids. Be careful. If you thought New York was a concrete jungle, you should come to China, particularly Guangzhou. Behind me is the Canton Tower. At one point it was, I believe, the second tallest tower in the world. And it stands at about 600 meters tall. It's probably the tallest building I'd ever seen this close up. It's so tall, even the TV spire at the top is slightly obscured by the low cloud that we've got today.
And you can see in the distance over there, poking over the top of the hedges, there's a couple of other newer towers that have sprung up, which, to be honest, I don't even know the names of, but they must be a similar height to the Canton Tower here. They're just absolutely enormous.
In Guangzhou, you won't find that many Westerners about, at least not compared to somewhere like maybe Shanghai or Hong Kong. However, if you come to the centre of the city, this is where you'll find other Westerners and even people from as far away as Africa. As you can see, many people come here to take pictures with the tower, but it's very difficult to actually shoot because the tower is so fucking tall. You also have the plaza as well. Let's go and check that out. You can go inside, but I have no idea how expensive it actually is. Probably quite a lot of money. Bruv, it's Mr. Bean, what the fuck? That's mad, man. Now I think the very cheapest, it's at least a tenner to go up, maybe a little bit more, which isn't too bad, but they also do an ID check before you go in. In fact, I'm not even sure I've got that, just my phone, so I think I'll come back tomorrow or another day, especially on a much clearer day as well. It's quite foggy today. You know, in the West, we're very worried about China and probably, arguably, the most powerful country in the world with all of their manufacturing and everything else, their huge economy. But you can still find McDonald's absolutely everywhere you go. Maybe China will win the trade war, but the Americans have won the culture war.
There is a huge retail space here, all kinds of stores, but it seems super quiet in comparison to how many stores there actually are.
Despite this being a major tourist attraction, it's not really just for Westerners. You'll find plenty of people from China also coming here as tourists. Domestic tourism in China is absolutely huge. Now it is a Sunday today, so I'm not sure if it's usually busier than this here at the Canton Tower, but it's pretty quiet, especially considering the sheer amount of space that there is here.
Like, looking around, you can see all this green space, everything else. There's quite a few people around, but not that many. At least not for somewhere as famous and iconic as this.
So I don't know, maybe it's busy on other days, but it just seems very weird to come to such a famous place and there be very few people here. In fact, half the people here I think are either security guards or cleaners.
But yeah, Canton Tower. If you come to Guangzhou, you must come here.
This here is the Haijin Bridge. I believe it's one of the only foot crossings over the river. There's a couple of road ones as well, but it's also a great place to get a view. Very much a tourist attraction here. You get some great views here. The bridge itself is super cool, and then you can see so many of the main big buildings in Guangzhou. Now it might look pretty grey and miserable today, but being in South China, it's still quite hot. I think it's about 26, 27 degrees, but it feels much warmer. The humidity is about 75% right now, so I'm struggling. It's really muggy.
And they've just started to water the plants, so this keeps you a little bit cool. Like, the scale of this place is just ridiculous. Like, you take the Canton Tower for example, it's maybe close to double the height of the Shard in London. And then there's all these other towers to the north that are nowhere near as famous, and they're just there. The thing with China is that you discover so many places that you've never heard of, and they're some of the biggest cities in the world.
Here's the front of that huge stadium building we saw the back of earlier. A lot of it is open to the public just to look around and everything else. But yeah, look at this place, man. And then behind me, I don't know what on earth these big towers are.
I said it before, I'll say it again, the scale of this place is crazy. Looks like there's some kind of photo shoot going on. I'm not quite sure what the flag is. I think it's the flag of the Chinese Navy, judging by the shirts. Yeah, here we are entering the two massive skyscrapers, kind of like a huge concrete gate as you enter the city. Public space is such a big deal here in China, so no matter where you go, if you look at the floor, like everything is absolutely spotless, everything's very clean, very tidy. Say what you will about the way they police over here, but it's just nice not to be stepping on chewing gum and fag ends and everything else. It's even more impressive when you consider how many people in China like to smoke and spit on the floor. Beautifully looked after, this park. I came here last night when it was all lit up and it's just fantastic. It's like you're in this huge valley of concrete. Welcome to the Lady Modern Urban Tourist Area. So just outside the Canton Tower tourist area, we've entered another tourist area. I find everything here has a really funny name, like a lot of stuff doesn't quite translate properly, and the fact that they need to designate tourism areas as being different from other public spaces, I don't know. Underneath this huge tourism area you have what's called the Mall of the World, but all I could really seem to find was Chinese food. There's a lovely park up above as well as you work your way down through the park. It was just generally quite a nice public space to be in. Yeah, it's a real juxtaposition of this park, surrounded on all sides by some of the tallest buildings I've ever seen in my life. Now, if you've ever stayed around this part of the world, particularly in Southeast Asia, then you'll be no stranger to hostels. And I've stayed in loads of them over the course of my trip in Cambodia and Vietnam. I've never stayed in a Chinese hostel before, so I thought I'd briefly show you where I am. I'm in this massive building. You can see the elevators here. It's got 30 floors, this place. We're on the 17th floor. The hostel's right there. It's not like those crazy party hostels you get in Southeast Asia for the backpackers or solo travellers with breakfast included and events at the bar. It's more just like a group home. And then out the window you can see here. And there's a few other units here. There's like an office there. And all these elevators. Only this one actually stops on this floor. We have a couple more units down here. Another office there, but it looks to be pretty quiet. This one is empty. And then, should you need it, there's a staircase all the way up. Fucking reeks though. Absolutely stinks. Look at the state of it, man. Jesus Christ. There's a couple of other units over here. I think in there it's like a dance studio or something. Very bizarre. And this is something like that. Bit of a change in vibe from what I was used to before on this trip. Now we've got to wait for the lift to go all the way down. And when I told a lot of people I was coming to China, they often assumed it was actually quite an expensive place to live. It's definitely more expensive than, let's say, I don't know, Vietnam or Cambodia or something, but simultaneously it's much cheaper than you might think, much cheaper than Western Europe specifically. So there's a grocery store around the corner. Let's go inside, have a look and see what the prices are for basic essentials. Starting with soft drinks, you've got cans of Coke there for 3.5 yuan. If you're converting from yuan to pounds, it's super easy. Times that by 10 and there you go. So about 35p for a can of Coke. For bottled water, 25p, 30p, 30p, 25p. Got a few chocolate bars here. They're a little bit more expensive, about 59p. There's Snickers. All of these are imported. We've got some Russian chocolate. Some Russian chocolate there. So even though these are all imported, they're still fairly cheap. 75p. It's basically like $1. Moving on to beer, the cheapest cans in here, the big cans of Budweiser, are 10 yuan, so about £1. You can get a local Tsingtao beer for about 80p, and that's a full 500ml can. Obviously down here the imported beers are a little bit more expensive. You will find a good few European beers here, mainly Heineken's, Hoegaarden, Kronenbourg as well. But yeah, still pretty good price for all of this stuff. Pack of Doritos about 75p, big one as well. Pack of Lay's 88p.
So I've just gotten off the train at a place called Yuntai Garden, which is just over there. Seems like quite a touristy area, like this nice park and stuff. You do have to buy some kind of ticket to get in, so it wasn't quite what I was looking for. What I'm looking for is like a hiking trail around here. There's a lot of green space in Guangzhou, particularly this is quite a hilly area, so that's what I'm looking for at the moment. I don't think this is it yet. We just made it to, I don't know what you call it, summit, I guess, start of the trail. It's quite built up here. Yet again, there's another security checkpoint down there, which I had to go through, of course. Shopping centre there as well. And just here is a nice botanical garden. Not really my style, but it's nice enough, right? Just had a nice little off-camera interaction. A local Chinese man came up to me. He said hello. I thought he spoke maybe a little bit of English. Didn't speak a word, but he wanted to get his photo taken with me, and also just a photo of me as well. He was talking to me in Mandarin the whole time, so I didn't really understand what he was saying, but he wouldn't stop talking in Mandarin despite the fact that it was pretty obvious I didn't speak any. I have heard that does happen here. They like to take photos of Westerners, or take photos with Westerners, or whatever. But yeah, it was cool. So I just had to pay to get in. It was 5 yuan, so about 50p, really cheap. I did think it would be more like a, I don't know, like a hike than this. It's more just like a walk in the park, really. There is like a side route here, so I might take this, see where it goes, see what happens, right? But we are climbing already. And you can see Guangzhou in the distance. Holy shit. Look at all the ants, bro. Fucking hell. Not gonna lie, I don't have a clue where I'm going. Just kind of going up and seeing where I go from there. There should be a temple at the top here, so I guess we'll aim for that. I love the trees you get in this part of the world. South China, Southeast Asia. I don't know what you call these. What do you call these kind of trees? Look. Every now and then you get to this kind of junction and there'll be a sign somewhere. The lookout view is at the top, as well as Shanding Square. The temple is that way. Fuck the temple, I want to see the view. Okay, I guess we're going up. Finally we made it to somewhere with a bit of a view. Look at that. Pretty fucking high up. Look at the city in the distance, man. Jeez. There's a nice little viewing balcony down here. But just look at the view. See how high up they are? A good couple 100 metres up. The city just keeps going and going and going and going. So yeah, the square at the top of the hill is very busy. School groups there today, so yeah, it's pretty loud. But it's worth coming here for the view. Now at least we've got the easy bit. I'm currently on the tiny little island known as Xiamen. Xiamen Island has huge significance to the history of Guangzhou. With its location on the river for many hundreds of years, there was a huge amount of trade in this area, and it was also after the First and Second Opium Wars in the mid-1800s that this area was actually split into two concessions given to the English, or the British rather, and the French. Such was the case in many other areas of China as well during what was known as the Century of Humiliation under the Qing dynasty. Now this island is really small, it's only about 900 meters long, and you can see it's not particularly far away from the rest of the city as well. So I believe the name comes from the Cantonese, just means like sandy bank or something like that. It's a really small little island. Xiamen Island was really the first area of Guangzhou to be westernized as such. Nowadays it's quite a touristy space here, Xiamen Island, but you have many nice hotels, a few western restaurants as well, and a lot of nice architectural relics of that colonial era.
You wouldn't know you're in China aside from the flags everywhere. You've got cobbled streets, European style buildings. You could be in Spain or Italy, but no, we're in southern China. This is one of two churches on the island. This is on the British side of the island, so this is a Protestant church which was built in the 1860s, and then on the French side of the island to my east there is also a Catholic church which was built for the French living and working over here.
And behind me now is the French Catholic church. We're now on the east side of the island. The French did have a slightly smaller concession here, but you can still see their impact in the architecture, and also this Catholic church here, which is still open and hugely popular
for people taking photos.
This here is Custom House on the bank of the river, not too far from where we just were in Xiamen Island.
This building in particular was started, I believe, in 1914, designed by a British architect. Guangzhou being by the sea, being on the river, it's always been a port city, but what made it so important, particularly to foreign trade, was that for many hundreds of years Guangzhou was deemed as the sole port for all foreign trade, hence the European influence. I've also just rented this little bicycle. You can scan like a QR code, pay with Alipay, WeChat, whatever, and it's like 20p for like 15 minutes. It's really easy to get around because it's so hot today, you just kind of need to get places quickly.
Right, I've come into a local spot just to have some food. Not quite authentic Cantonese goose or whatever, but it's close enough, right? I've got fried pork, I think it's like cutlet or a chop or something. They've got sausage, egg, on a bed of rice as well. Perfect food for someone like me who's not feeling too adventurous today. So it's really salty with the soy sauce, but thankfully the owners come and give me a fork, which was nice of them. So this here is the pork fillet, that's the sausage obviously, but this here I think is fried spam. I tasted it and I was like, what on earth is that? No, it's fried spam. It was quite a big plate of food as well. All of this was about £2.50. Now most of what I've shown you so far has been big skyscrapers and European colonial buildings, but this is the real China. There's plenty of these tiny little alleyways. It's weird how unchanged it feels, particularly when you compare it to the more modern areas of China, which are like something out of the future.
Local wildlife here. Come on, mate. Hello.
这个不是吧？不是，4个订单，1、2、3，可以。
Look at these old houses here, look at that. Isn't it fascinating how people can live in places like this, just a couple of kilometres away from some of the biggest skyscrapers in all of Asia. Constantly dodging the electric scooters everywhere. Looks like they're phasing some of these old buildings out. They are really, really old. Lots of dried and frozen food down here. But to be honest, I don't know what any of this stuff is, man. Don't have a clue. And with all due respect to the Cantonese, it fucking reeks, man. I think a lot of it's like dried fish and stuff. Yeah, there's a funky smell around here. But there's so many vendors selling all kinds of stuff. Countless little back alleys, and you don't know where they lead.
If at any point all those markets get a little bit too busy for you, as they did for me, constantly trying to push past people, you can just slip down one of these alleyways and it's dead quiet. You can just completely forget there's a busy road and a big market just down there.
Not too far from the local markets you have this, the Sacred Heart of Jesus Cathedral. You can't see it too well through the bars, but it's a stunning building, still in operation as a Catholic cathedral to this day. They have mass on various days of the week, and also one on Sunday in English too. Be prepared for this if you come to any famous tourist destination. East Asia, Southeast Asia, there's going to be lots of people taking photos and trying to look good for Instagram. So no matter where you stand, you always feel like you're in someone's way.
20 minutes later.
I just hopped on a train for a couple minutes from where I was, and now I'm here at Beijing Pedestrian Street, full of like little stalls, and there's a huge shopping centre over there. Seems like a cool area of town. You've got a bit of old and new.
This side of the road you can see the old style Chinese buildings. I think they've started tearing some of them down. Then on the other side up there, brand new giant shopping centre, a bit of old and new together. So you've got the pedestrian street here and a big shopping mall, and then you've got the actual road here. It feels a little bit like Oxford Street, isn't it? It's a cool area of town. It's nice if you want a break from all of the dried shrimp and Chinese medicine. Like, the scale of this place is fucking nuts. Look at the size of these buildings all around me. Especially back in that direction. Also, there's plenty of running jokes in the West about Chinese people like copying Western brands. These days you'll find plenty of Western brands here. You'll find Nike, you'll find Adidas, you'll find McDonald's and Starbucks and everything else. But at the same time, you won't find Ralph Lauren, you'll find Polo Walk.
If you walk down Beijing Street, you might have even missed this place. This is Dafo Temple. I walked past it myself, and it was only when I was coming back that I noticed like a mini pagoda at the entrance. Around the back of these buildings here, which make up Beijing Street,
you have an entire Buddhist temple. And here it is.
大家坐係嘛？咁我放喺手上面咁樣放嘅，呢個咧佢有一定嘅講法，呢個放喺。
Place smells really nice. Loads of incense burning going on. Huge golden statues in here. Look at this. It's crazy. Lovely Buddhist temples surrounded on all sides by high-rises. People leaving offerings, as is common throughout the Buddhist world.
Right, it's a little bit later in the day. It's about 7:15 now, and I haven't eaten yet, so I'm gonna stay local round where I'm staying, see if we can find some good Cantonese food to eat. But I reckon no matter what, it's gonna be a Google Translate job. You can't even point in the menu and try and pronounce it because it's not the same alphabet.
So I'm staying by, like, in this building there. So many like little stores along here. You've got some like American chains. You've got a KFC there. There's like McDonald's back there. But also there's bakeries, like little noodle spots. Maybe there'll be a barbecue place as well. you've got to be really careful when you're walking around because people here are just on their fucking phone all the time. And I don't mean texting or listening to music or calling. I mean like just watching fucking like TikTok while walking along. It's fucking insane. It's a bit of a nightmare trying to walk everywhere, and then you've got the scooters as well. So you try not to get run over. Chinese bakery there, look. I might have to hit up that spot tomorrow, it looks banging. The creme de la creme of Chinese food, KFC. Super popular here though. And then at the bottom end of the street here, there's a few more like little pop-in spots and everything. Just a fucking free-for-all with the scooters. Like, look at this one here, Canton Intangible Cultural Heritage Rice Roll Master. I don't reckon that translates properly. Okay, first I just got some of these gyoza dumplings. We have these in the UK, but it was something I recognised. Tried to order them. These was just talking to me in like Mandarin or Cantonese the whole fucking time. But 4 of these, 40p, so about 10p each, 1 yuan each. So it's pork meat inside there. These are so good, even without any kind of like sauce or nothing. You can just eat them dry. Still warm, not too greasy, not too dry either. Like perfect happy medium. So I've been out hunting for more food. What I've got here, something that I cannot translate, but it's basically a Chinese meat pie, which sounds absolutely perfect. This, by the way, was only 6 yuan. Still can't quite work out what the inside is. It smells really like kind of oniony, cabbagey. I really like it. Reminds me of home a little bit, I guess. I don't want to call it pastry. It's more like dough, and it's really, really nice and soft, and it's nice and salty as well. A little bit spicy too. But more than anything, I'm just waiting for it to cool down. These are like fresh out of the fire, so who knew they made good meat pies over here? So I picked up 2 things here. I seem to have just unintentionally only gone for baked stuff or stuff that includes those. So I've got pearl milk tea here, which is fucking enormous. You get the bicep pump just holding this, and also a pineapple and lemon cheese bun, which looks so nice. Something nice and sweet. I don't mind the tea. The tea's alright. It's more like tea than milk, if that makes sense. I prefer my tea a bit milkier. This is fucking delicious, by the way. It's really quite light. I thought it was going to be quite heavy or whatever, but no, it's really light. The filling inside, the lemon cheese filling, is delicious. This was only 5 yuan. That was 9. I might go get another one of these, I'm not going to lie. Currently on my way to Qingping Nanhue, which is somewhere I've been recommended. Always good to take in a bit of history. It feels like I haven't really dived in as much as maybe I could have yet. So even though I've only got today and half of tomorrow, I'm only just finding out about so many cool things. There's no one here, man. There's literally no one at the station right now. It's kind of cool. It means I've got a seat for once. It's quite an odd location. It's just by the side of this busy road with apartments and shops and everything else, and then you come here, you see this giant red building. So if you want to get into this place, it's a fucking pain in the arse. There's a queue, like you can manually get a ticket, but that's cash only, even though it's China and no one uses cash at all. But there's my ticket. Otherwise, there's like a self-service thing where you can use Yuexin Pay, Alipay, but they do say you need ID, so I've got my passport with me. They didn't check nothing, but I wouldn't trust using the self-service machine. It is only 10 yuan entry. That was a cool place, really quite interesting. Although they could definitely do with some more like English translation. Most of it you had to translate, apart from like the big paragraphs. But it was interesting, and for £1, why not, right? Lots of stuff in there. Just been walking through this park to go and check out the Guangzhou Museum. And I found this huge monument at the top of a huge flight of stairs. This is the Zhongshan Monument, I believe. They have in China, they have Zhongshan parks dedicated to Sun Yat-sen, who I believe was a revolutionary, really seen as the guy who is the father
of modern China. He was part of the revolution that overthrew the Qing dynasty in the 1910s. So I'm not sure if this is, I don't think this is a monument to him, I think it's just a monument to those Zhongshan parks. But yeah, it's massive, man. Look at the size of it. As you're walking through the park, you've also got Yuexin Stadium, and you can just like basically look out over the top of the stadium. Nothing happening right now. I know nothing about Chinese football, so I don't know who plays here. Guess someone can tell me. This is the Guangzhou Museum. There's my ticket. Again, if you go up to the counter, they ask you to pay cash, but it was only 10 yuan, so not very much at all. It was a pretty cool souvenir as well, wasn't it? So people often talk about the Silk Road, but Guangzhou was the end of the maritime Silk Road between Asia and Europe. So I believe a lot of the artifacts here centre on its importance as a major trading port. Look at these cannons as well, man, it's sick. Right, museum done. It was really good. Now, what I didn't realise was before when I was walking through here, this stretch of path here is actually the old wall, the main city of Guangzhou down there, and then up here you had sort of like a fortress overlooking the entire city, which is where the museum stands today. I'm going to cut for now because I've got 3 SD cards from my travels so far and they're all full up, so I'm going to go hunt for an external hard drive or something. Would I say come to Guangzhou? Maybe if you're seeing other destinations here in China as well. It's not quite there as a tourist city yet, but just to come here and see the scale of a place like this, it's something different when you see it in person, see all the Canton Tower and all the skyscrapers around the city. So yeah, it's got a long way to go, but it's a cool place. What do you think though?